Hey everyone, I apologize as it's been a while since I uploaded my last video. It's been a bit hectic these days as we're currently looking for a location for our second restaurant. Anyway, in this video, I wanted to go over some of the most common food truck related questions I get asked and the questions that I see posted in online forums and Facebook groups. So let's get right to it. Question number 1, should I go to culinary school before starting a food truck? Here's how I feel about culinary school.
You dropped 150 grand on a fucking education you could have got for $1.50 in late charges at the public library.
Yeah, but I will have a degree.
When you graduate from culinary school, you'll have a degree, and that'll help you land a job at a fine dining establishment in the future. But if you want to start a food truck, you can learn nearly all the same skills and concepts that culinary school teaches you through online courses, YouTube videos, or even just part-timing at a local restaurant. Plus, you'll save the 1 to 4 years of schooling and the tens of thousands of dollars in tuition fees.
Money, money.
This is not to say that culinary school isn't beneficial for people who want to get into the food industry. If I had to guess, I would say the success rate of food trucks or restaurant owners is probably higher for those who graduated from culinary school and those who didn't. However, considering the time and money that culinary school requires, I don't think it's a worthwhile investment for the average food truck owner.
I'm stating facts.
Question number 2. How do I get enough money to start my own food truck without going through a bank or borrowing from friends and family? There are generally 2 groups of people who ask this kind of question. The first group consists of people who don't have very good credit, so obtaining any kind of loan is near impossible. The second group consists of people who may not necessarily have credit problems, but maybe just aren't comfortable owing money to the bank or don't want to ask the people around them for money.
I need money.
To both groups, my answer is the same. Be patient and save up until you're able to cover at least 60 to 70% of the total startup costs on your own.
Why?
You'll spend your money much more carefully and budget much tighter if most of the funds are your own money rather than borrowed money. Also, the reason I say you want to be able to cover 60 to 70% of the startup costs is that nearly all first-time food truck owners underestimate how much they'll need. So if you think you'll need $30,000, it probably means you'll end up spending actually $40,000 to $50,000. You'll be in much better position to cover your extra costs if you're able to cover most of your initial $30,000 budget than someone who couldn't even cover half of the initial budget. Question number 3, how many menu items should I start with? Short answer, keep it as small as you can, especially when you're first starting out. You could totally run a successful food truck by selling just 3 items. So don't be so worried about trying to capture every sale possible by catering to everyone's tastes.
What we have is 20 different combinations of marinades, toppings, and seasonings. What you do is you choose one and then you add it to either chicken, portobello mushroom, New York strip, or shrimp. Angus ribeye, prime cut.
What'll end up happening is the less popular items will probably not taste as good as your best sellers. It'll be harder to manage your inventory because you'll need a wider variety of ingredients. And your menu won't have any focus. Instead, work on perfecting your first 2 or 3 dishes, and once you have those down pat, you can explore adding more menu options. Question number 4, how many employees should I hire in the beginning? If you're in a relatively busy area, you may want to start with just 1 employee. You're going to want to supervise that employee pretty closely for at least the first week or so. Otherwise, you may run into issues with consistency, portion sizing, and overall quality control.
Quality assurance. Your job. I really think you screwed the pooch on this one, Creed. Because of you, the entire company is in jeopardy.
Once it gets so busy that you can't keep up with the number of orders coming in, or you find that it takes a very long time for the food to get prepared, it's time to add another additional employee. Question number 5, how much should I pay my employees? First of all, you should set a salary for yourself before anything else. And you probably want to pay yourself a minimum wage salary, but capped at 40 hours of pay, even though you work more than that. So for example, if minimum wage in your area is $10 an hour, you should pay yourself $400 a week. Then you should pay your employees the same as you pay yourself, or more than you pay yourself. If you find that you can't survive on $400 a week and decide to give yourself a raise, you should raise your employees' pay accordingly. This will ensure that you stay motivated to make your food truck business successful and that you will constantly be looking for ways to both increase revenue and decrease your costs. If you have a comfortable salary, you won't have the same drive or sense of desperation as someone who is barely surviving financially.
The only difference between me and a homeless man is this job. I will do whatever it takes to survive, like I did when I was a homeless man.
Another major benefit is that offering pay higher than what's typical in the food truck or fast food industry will attract more talented employees. It'll also reduce employee turnover and help improve employee satisfaction, two factors that are essential to running a smooth operation. You may be asking yourself, when will I ever get rich from my food truck?
Show me the money!
And the answer is that you should be looking to get rich from the profit your food truck makes, not through the regular salary you pay yourself. If your truck isn't producing any profit by the end of each year, it means you need to find ways to increase sales, lower costs, or both. Question number 6, do I need to park at a commissary? This really depends on the state and city or town you're in, but most food truck owners need to have a commissary. The biggest reason is that you need to register your truck with a licensed commissary so that your local health department knows you have a proper place to dump your used cooking oil, clean your trucks or inventory, and so on. One thing to note is that commissaries get inspected regularly by the health department. And if the place is filthy, it can get shut down, which means you won't be able to operate your truck legally until you find another commissary to move into.
It's filthy.
So don't automatically go with the cheapest commissary you can find. Question number 7, which generator should I buy? This is probably one of the most commonly asked questions on online forums and chat groups, and there's never one correct answer. However, there are a few guidelines you should all follow. First of all, the most important factor is to always calculate how much power you'll need. This means going through your equipment list and adding up all the different electric requirements. So things like your fridge, freezer, refrigerator prep table, electric cooking appliances, POS station, printer, internet router or hotspot, security cameras, lights, hood vents, and so on. This takes a lot of time, and most people are too lazy to do this, which is why they just go with whatever generator most people use. Anyway, once you calculate that number, add at least 20% to it, and look for generators that meet or exceed that total wattage. So if your total wattage is 2,000, you would add 20% to that to get 2,400. And then choose a generator that either supplies 2,400 or more of running wattage. So doesn't that mean the more power, the better? Well, not necessarily, because more powerful generators are also more expensive. So if money isn't an issue, then yeah, you could spring for the more powerful one. But for those on a budget, it's better to save that money for more useful things. Second, make sure there's an authorized repair center for your generator in your area, because you'll find that there are actually very few around, even in major cities. Just to give you an example, we used a Honda generator, and Honda is a very reputable brand. Guess how many authorized Honda generator repair centers there are in New York City? One. If you don't believe me, go on Google Maps and see for yourself. There are several Honda repair shops for cars, but only one Honda generator repair center in the entire city of 8.5 million people.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Yes, you can get your generator fixed at a non-authorized repair center, but that means it won't be covered under warranty. And trust me, generator repairs are very expensive. Third, don't shell out extra money for a quiet generator. This is one of the selling points of many generator companies, and although it might seem like it'll make a huge difference in your food truck operation, trust me, it won't. Quiet generators are important if you're using them in a mobile home or an RV, because you don't want to lay down for a nap with the constant humming of your generator right next to your ear. For these people, it makes sense to pay extra for some peace and quiet. But a food truck is by default a noisy environment. You have the sound of the hood vent, food cooking, customers ordering food, and staff communicating with each other constantly. Do you really think a generator that is a few decibels quieter than a competing generator is really going to make a difference?
I don't think so.